Chapter 8 of The Pirates by Morgan Robertson. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Joe DeNoia, Chesterfield, New Jersey. Chapter 8. Forsyth and Daniels ran forward, while Billings, the cook-off watch, followed from the galley hatch, and Casey came up from the wireless room. Each asked questions, but nobody answered at once. There were 8 bound men lying upon the deck, and these must first be released, which was soon done. Denman, lying prone with a small pool of blood near his head, was next examined and pronounced alive. He was breathing, but dazed and shocked, for a large caliber bullet glancing upon the skull has somewhat the same effect as the blow of a cudgel. He opened his eyes as the men examined him, and dimly heard what they said. "Now," said Forsyth, when these preliminaries were concluded, "here we are, miles at sea, with short store of oil, according to Riley, and a short store of grub, according to Daniels. What's to be done, eh? The man who has bossed us so far hasn't seen this, and is now down in the wardroom, knocked out by this brass-button doodling. What are you going to do, eh?" Forsyth flourished his pistols dramatically and glared unspeakable things at the doodling on the deck. "Well, Forsyth," said old Kelly, the gunner's mate, "you've pretended to be a navigator. What do you say?" "I say this," declared Forsyth. "I'm not a navigator, but I can be. But I want it understood. There has got to be a leader, a commander. If you fellows agree, I'll master the navigation and take this boat to the African coast. But I want no halfway work. I want my orders to go, just as I give them. Do you agree? You've gone wrong under Jenkins. Take your choice." "You're right, Forsyth," said Casey, the wireless man of the starboard watch. "Jenkins is too easy, too careless. Take the job, I say." "Do you all agree?" yelled Forsyth wildly in his excitement. "Yes, yes," they exclaimed. "Take charge and get us out of these seas. Who wants to be locked up?" "All right," said Forsyth. "Then I'm the commander. Lift that baby down to the skipper's room with the sick woman, and let them nurse each other. Lift Jenkins out of the wardroom, and stow him in the forecastle bunk. Riley, nurse your engines and save oil, but keep the dynamo going for the wireless. And you, Casey, have you got that message cooked up?" "I have. All I want is the latitude and the longitude to send it from." "I'll give it to you soon. Get busy now and do your share. I must study a little." The meeting adjourned. Denman, still dazed with a splitting headache, was assisted aft and below to the spare berth in the captain's quarters, where he sank into unconsciousness with the moaning of the stricken woman in his ears. Casey went down to his partner and his instruments. Riley and King, with their confreres of the other watch, went down to the engines to nurse them. And Forsyth, after Jenkins had been lifted out of the wardroom and forward to the forecastle bunk, searched the bookshelves and the desks of the officers, and, finding what he wanted, went forward to study. He was apt. He was a high school graduate and only needed to apply himself to produce results. And Forsyth produced them. As he had promised, he took a meridian observation that day, and in half an hour announced the latitude, 35 degrees, 40 minutes north. "Now, Casey," he called, after he had looked at the track chart. "Got your fake message ready?" Only this, answered Casey, scanning a piece of paper. Listen. Stolen destroyer bound north. Latitude so-and-so. Longitude so-and-so. That'll do, or anything like it. Send it from latitude 40 north, 55 west. That's up close to the corner of the lanes. And if it's caught up, it'll keep him busy up there for a while. What's our longitude? Don't know, and won't until I learn the method. But just north of us is the west to east track of outbound, low-power steamers, which, I take it, means tramps and tankers. Well, we'll have good use for a tanker. You mean we'll hold up one for oil? Of course, and for grub if we need it. Piracy, Forsyth. Have pirates got anything on us now? Asked Forsyth. What are we? Mutineers? Convicts? Strong-arm men? Thieves? Or just simply pirates? Off the deck with you, Casey, and keep your wires hot. 40 north, 45 west for a while. Then we'll have it farther north. Casey jotted down the figures and departed to the wireless room, where, at intervals throughout the day, he sent out into the ether the radiating waves, which, if picked up within 50 miles by a craft beyond the horizon, might be relayed on. The success of this scheme cannot be learned by any tangible signs, but for the next few days, while the boat lay with wide engines and Forsyth studied navigation, they remarked that they were not pursued or noticed by passing craft. And as the boat, with dead engines, rolled lazily in the long Atlantic swell, while the men, all but Forsyth, the two cooks, and the two wireless experts, lolled lazily about the deck, the three invalids of the ship's company were convalescing in different degrees. Jenkins, dumb and wheezy, lay prone in the forecastle bunk, trying to wonder how it happened. His mental faculties, though apprising him that he was alive, would hardly carry him to the point of wonder, for wonder predicates imagination, and what little Jenkins was born with had been shocked out of him. Still he struggled, and puzzled, and guessed weakly as to what had happened to him. And when a committee from the loungers above visited him and asked him what struck him, he could only point suggestively to his throat and wag his head. He could not even whisper. And so they left him, pondering over the profanely expressed opinion of old Kelly that it was a visitation from God. The committee went aft to the skipper's quarters, and here loud talk and profanity ceased, for there was a woman below. And, while these fellows were not gentlemen, as the term is understood, they were men. Bad men, but men. On the way down the stairs, Kelly struck, barehanded, his watchmate Hawks for expressing an interest in the good looks of the woman, and Samson, a giant like his namesake, smote old Kelly, hip and thigh, for qualifying his strictures on the common of Hawks. Thus corrected and enjoined, with caps in hand, they approached the open door of the starboard room, where lay the injured woman in the berth, fully clothed in her now dried garments, and her face still hidden in Deadman's bandage. "Excuse me, madam," said Samson, the present chairman of the committee. "Can we do anything for you?" "I cannot see you," she answered faintly. "I do not know where I am, nor what will happen to me. But I am in need of attention. One man was kind to me, but he has not returned. Who are you, you men?" "We're crew of the boat, answered Samson awkwardly. The skipper's forward, and I guess the man that was kind to you is our prisoner. He's not on the job now, but what can we do? Tell me where I am and where I'm going. What boat is this? Who are you? Well, madam, broke in old Kelly, we're a crowd of jailbreakers that stole a torpedo boat destroyer and put to sea. We got you off a burned and sinking yacht, and you're here with us. But I'm blessed if I know what we'll do with you. Our necks are in the halter, so to speak. Or rather, our hands and ankles are in irons for life if we're caught. You've got to make the best of it until we get caught. And if we don't, you've got to make the best of it too. Lots of young men among us, and you're no spring chicken by the looks of you. Old Kelly went down before a fist of blows from Hawks, who thus strove to rehabilitate himself in the good opinion of his mates. And Hawks went backward from a blow from Samson, who, as yet unsullied from unworthy thought, held his position as peacemaker and moralist. And while they were recovering from the excitement, Denman, with blood on his face from the wound in his scalp, appeared among them. Are you fellows utterly devoid of manhood and self-respect? He said sternly. That you appear before the door of a sick room and bait a woman who cannot defeat herself even by speech? Shame upon you. You have crippled me, but I am recovering. If you cannot aid this woman, leave her to me. She is burned, scalded, disfigured. She hardly knows her name or where she came from. You have saved her from the wreck, and have since neglected her. Men, you are jailbirds as you say, but you are American seamen. If you cannot help her, leave her. Do not insult her. I am helpless. If I had power, I would decree further relief from the medicine chest. But I am a prisoner. Restricted. Samson squared his big shoulders. On deck with you fellas. All of you. Get. Quick! They followed up the companion, leaving Samson looking at Denman. Lieutenant, he said, you take care of this poor woman, and if anyone interferes, notify me. I'm as big a man as Jenkins, who's knocked out, and a bigger man than Forsyth, who's now in command. But we're fair, understand? We're fair. The most of us. Yes, yes, answered Denman, as he staggered back to a transom seat. Want anything yourself? Asked Samson, as he noted the supine figure of Denman. You're still Lieutenant Denman of the Navy. Understand? No, I do not. Leave me alone. Samson followed his mates. Denman sat out a few moments, nursing his aching head and trying to adjust himself to conditions. And as he sat there, he felt a hand on his shoulder and heard a weak voice saying, Are you Lieutenant Denman? Billy Denman? He looked up. The bandaged face of the woman was above him. Out of the folds of the bandage looked two serious, gray eyes, and he knew them. Florrie, he said in a choke. Is this you? Grown up? Florrie Fleming! How? Why? What brings you here? I started on the trip, Billy, she said calmly, with Father on a friend's yacht bound for the Bermudas. We caught fire, and I was the only one saved, it seems. But how are you here, subordinate to these men? Are you injured, Billy? You're bleeding. What has happened? The finger of fate, Flory, or the act of God, answered Denman with a painful smile. We must have the conceit taken out of us on occasions, you know. Forsyth, my schoolmate, is in command of this crowd of jailbreakers and pirates. Forsyth? Your conqueror? She receded a step. Do you know, Mr. Denman, that you were my hero when I was a child, and that I never forgave Jack Forsyth? I had hoped to hear. Oh, I know, he interrupted hotly, while his head throbbed anew with a surge of emotion. I know what you and the whole town expected. But, well, I knocked him down on deck a short time back, and the knockdown stands. But they would not allow a finish. Then he shot me when I was not looking. I am glad, she answered simply, for your sake, and perhaps for my own. For I, too, it seems, am in his power. He answered her as he could, incoherently and meaninglessly, but she went to her room and closed the door. End of chapter 8.